If we're going to talk about the meat of the software, we would definitely refer to menu programming, but this is the potatoes, the inventory. There are quite a few settings in here that are extremely applicable to give yourself an accurate reading or an accurate reporting of everything that's available in stock in your restaurant. So we're going to cover quite a lot with inventory. Menu programming is highly important, and extracting, the recipes to actually build your inventory and release those as they're sold. Then as each item is sold, that's going to be able to deplete your inventory. So we need to track that. So let's actually dive in and see how you're actually going to set it up. Let's start getting the language together as well. So we're going to go to Setup, Inventory Setup, and let's start off at Inventory Groups. Now you can see all of these groups right here. These are all specific. I could use the word categories, but I really don't want to use that. These are all individual. You can see that if you just look here, bakery and bar and beer and canned items and things like that. You just want to keep everything grouped together so that it's a quick reference. So creating a new group is obviously the same thing we've been doing. You click New and you create a group. And then you can hide that inventory group if you decide that it's going to be a seasonal item, if it's going to be just something that you've decided to move on from. You definitely would just have to hide that because it's going to populate within the database and you'd have to either hide or show it. Inventory locations are important as well, especially if you have multiple places that you're going to store food, cool places, dry places, etc. So you just want to be able to have all of these different things right here because you want to be able to deplete. If you have the same item or a very similar item that you're depleting from inventory, you want to pull it from the correct place so that when you do your physical inventory count, that it's in the correct place. So you're going to establish all your locations and your sort order right here, and that's how inventory locations are going to be determined. Now let's talk about inventory vendors, okay? I have two vendors in here. You're going to have the default supplier in there, and then I put Cisco. Pretty much everybody's going to buy something from Cisco, so we decided to put that in there, and you can see that this is very easy. All you're doing is inputting a name to show this is one of our vendors, so you can just basically apply them to a specific item that you're going to purchase on a recurring basis. Inventory items, you can see all of these here. This is going to be every single individual item. This could look a little daunting. It's just like that modifiers page where it just seems like you have everything here. Well, you do have everything here. This is your entire list, your entire ingredient list to your whole business. So you want to pay careful attention to these things, and there are times where you're going to have to do a little bit of math to figure out how, and this is one a little bit of the difficult parts of the software, is the fact that it's not intuitive in the sense that it's going to know, hey, this is a pound, this is it's not going to do the math for you. That would be great if it did, but unfortunately, they at least gave us a calculator. So the fact is, you have all these individual items here, and you can see as we click through that all of this stuff is changing. So every item is going to have its individual portions of information that we need to determine. So let's go back to this one. This is just a 10.5 Lacy Bear. I don't really know what it is, but we see here that it's a home deco item. So you can see that you can actually sell retail and restaurant. You can have the secondary language feature applied here as well. You have your pack size description there, so it comes one in a pack. And then you also have your barcode for your pack and your barcode for your individual item. So what we're going to talk about as well is the parent-child relationship. So there are going to be times where you're going to sell things in cases or in packs, and you'll also sell them as an individual item as well. And then there are going to be some items that you're going to order as a parent item and sell as a child item. So that's one of the things that you want to do, is you want to keep careful account of your barcodes and make sure that your cases / packs and your individual items are barcoded correctly. And that's just going to help you fly through your inventory, your physical inventory count a lot quicker than just saying, okay, well, I'm writing down a note. It's actually going to reduce some of the user error potentially. The other thing is that you see here, you can put total items per pack size, and then this is the pack size yield. And this is the great thing, is that since it's going to be helping to build recipes, you're going to have this right here that you're going to be able to establish. You can sell it ounces, pounds, tablespoons, teaspoons, however you'd like to sell it. And it's called unit of measure. So you're going to want to pick your unit of measure for this specific item, okay? And you can input multiple ones in there, and you saw that you just press new. The other thing is that since you're going to be using this unit of measure, you have your calculator there, and it's just a quick reference thing that you can that pulls it up from Windows, and you can use that at your leisure. The other thing is, you're going to establish, this is my inventory group, so you have all those repeating here. Again, shortcut, you can edit all those right there. The other thing is the inventory location. It just says upstairs on this one, but you can see that there's multiple places, coolers, dry places, and then you're actually going to choose your vendor as well. For this, we'll just call it supplier since it's not a food item. And then you're going to place your sort order, and you just want to, as you're creating your inventory, you just want to number these things so that they sort appropriately in this list. And the other thing that you want to have is you're going to have your reorder point and your replenish level. So what this means is that once this has been reduced to 0, or really if you have 2 or 3 in and it gets down to 1, you're going to reorder 1. Okay, so you're going to establish your replenish level. So hopefully that made sense. Your reorder point is the point at which I need to actually order this again, and then your replenish level is how many I'm going to purchase in order to replenish my stock. And you're going to see a great feature in just a second called the shopping list, and to create a PO from the shopping list. Basically, this reorder point can become such a convenient part of your life that if you set all this up, and it's going to take time to get adjusted, but when you set all this up and everything gets down to its reorder point, it populates it within this list that we're going to show you on the shopping list in just a second. You can also have just your regular inventory description here, and this is how many you have on hand, cost per quantity, total pack size value. So you can actually pull a very quick value report. This is how much value I have in stock right now of everything that I have. This is what I purchased it all for. Now, one of the other things I'd like to discuss is when we're talking about quantity on hand, and we're talking about things like cost per quantity. The thing with respect to cost is the fact that you're going to have items that were purchased at one point in time at a specific value, and then as you deplete some of it, you may have some leftover as you've replaced a new order, and you have some mixing going on. So what it's going to do is actually keep a cost average. It's not going to actually keep an individual cost, because you're actually keeping an average cost of the item over time. So just to give you an indication about that. The other thing is that if you just want to create a new one, it's the exact same panel, and we're not going to create a new item right now. It's pretty much the same thing that we've been showing you, but we're actually going to move on to another portion of inventory. A few seconds ago, we were discussing the shopping list and how it will populate automatically when things actually get past their reorder point. And let's take a look at that. Where we're going to go is we're going to go to Activities, Inventory Activities, create a purchase order, create PO from a shopping list. And you can see right here, this is that Lacy Bear that we were just looking at right there. And you can see that it has the vendor name for every one of these items. You can see that this is the reorder level, which is how many what level it's actually at. And you're actually going to create that automatic replenish portion that we were discussing earlier. That is it's an automatic order that's going to be created. So you can actually very easily press this button right here to create a PO that's going to order all of these items per vendor, and you can just ship those out however the vendor wants to do it. You can do it from email. Depends on the vendor's capabilities. If you can just digitally convey this information to them, or you actually have to send one off, or somebody comes picks up the order. So that is a huge convenience to actually maintaining your inventory levels and actually not spending a ton of time having to go through physical inventory count every day. The other thing is the physical inventory count that we would like to talk about. So you saw that there was that shortcut there, physical inventory count, and this is what's actually going to appear. So you see all of the items right here, and you just scroll up and down. You see all these items right here, and we have the original quantity, the pack size description, the new quantity, which that's the physical inventory count. This is actually how many we have in the house. And then the quantity used. Now that is within the system. This is the quantity that has been used within the system that's been recorded. And we're going to show you the recipe editor in just a second. But as items that contain, or let's say menu items that contain these ingredients, as those are depleted out of inventory, with the system, those numbers are going to populate here, and then the actual numbers are going to be here, and then you're going to look at the adjustment reason. Now, what it's going to give you the ability to do is to mitigate that shrinkage factor in your business. So hopefully you can see here that you can do an inventory download, and you can do a lot of things with this physical inventory count to digitally maintain a good grasp on what's actually going on within your business with respect to the adjustment reasons and the new quantities.